First obstacle is the rings. You only have to use the first and last ring. You can skip as many as you like in the middle as needed to reach the platform. Just making sure you use that last ring before dismounting.
Okay, cannonballs.
The next obstacle is going to be the cannonballs.
Okay, go.
You're going to use hands on the blue cannonball section only,
Not put our fingers in.
not putting your fingers through the bolts
That's
or
weird.
grabbing onto the bolts, and using the first one and the last one to reach this bungee, and then using the bungee to dismount to the platform.
Okay, and then this way.
The next obstacle is going to be the steps, using each of the steps, hands and feet as needed to reach that end platform.
Okay, go.
Next up is going to be a bar lâché. It's just using your hands only to lâché between the two bars, completing 2 lâchés, and then dismounting to the end area.
Good job. Okay,
Next
go.
up is going to be the balance. We have 2 options for the balance here. This is the preteens option. So it starts with this roller, which you have to roll as far as you need to get to reach that first beam, stepping on the top middle section only, not on the side supports, and then across each of these little balls, again onto the second beam, and then dismounting to a platform. There will be a box or something there for you to step onto. This one using feet only, so no hands at any point on this obstacle. You're going to roll this along and then step up onto the high box, again without using hands to support yourself, and without using hands to step down. When stepping down, you can walk along the tops of these beams using each of the little pads here, and then again straight up to the top of that one with no hands allowed, and stepping down along the last beam and onto a box that will be placed there on the day of competition.
Direction.
The next obstacle is going to be these big swings, so you're going to get a good swing going and use hands only to transition between each of these. You do have to use all of these, and then use the rope as needed to dismount.
To the platform.
Next obstacle is going to be the cliffhanger. Cliffhanger, you have to use at least the first and last
Okay, go.
cliffhanger.
Before you leave the first cliffhanger.
So take your weight off the ground before you reach for before you contact the second cliffhanger. But as long as you're using the first and the last one, you don't have to take full weight in terms of like hanging statically or anything. As long as you're using the first one,
There you go.
that's fine.
There you go.
And just get into the last cliffhanger with at least one hand before dismounting. You don't need to get both hands on. You're perfectly able to dismount using just one hand on there. But 2 is fine if you want to be safe. The last obstacle is going to be the warp wall. Now on the day of competition, you'll have to run around the other side. You're not allowed to step back onto the crash mat that you just cleared. And you get 3 attempts on the warp wall, with your best attempt being the one that counts. Once you've climbed up the warp wall, you're going to slide down the slide and hit the buzzer at the bottom of the slide. And that will officially end your run.